ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। अर्जुन उवाच
अर्जुन उवाच
किं तद्ब्रह्म किमध्यात्मम्
किं 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 तद् किं तद्व्यं किमदात्म्यं
किं तद्ब्रह्म
किं तद्ब्रह्मा किमध्यात्मं
किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तम
किं कर्म पुरुषोत्तमा
अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम्
अधिभूतं च किं प्रोक्तम्
अधिदैवं किमुच्यते
अधिदैवं किमुच्यते
अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र
अधियज्ञः कथं कोत्र
देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदन
देहेऽस्मिन् मधुसूदना
प्रयाणकाले च कथम्
प्रयाणकाले च कथं
ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः
ज्ञेयोऽसि नियतात्मभिः।
श्रीभगवानुवाच
श्रीभगवानुवाच
अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमम्
अक्षरं ब्रह्म परमं
स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते
स्वभावोऽध्यात्ममुच्यते
भूतभावोद्भवकरः
भूतभावोद्भवकरः
विसर्गः कर्म संज्ञितः
विसर्गः कर्म संज्ञितः
अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः
अधिभूतं क्षरो भावः
पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम्
पुरुषश्चादिदैवतम्
अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र
अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र
देहे देहभृतां वर
देहे देहभृतां वर
अन्तकाले च मामेव
अंतकाले च मामेव
स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरम्
स्मरन् मुक्त्वा कलेवरम्
यः प्रयाति समद्भावम्
यः प्रयाति समद्भावम्
याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः
याति नास्त्यत्र संशयः
यं यं वापि स्मरन् भावम्
यं यं वापि स्मरन् भावम्
त्यजत्यन्ते कलेवरम्
त्यजत्यन्ते कलेवरम्
तं तमेवैति कौन्तेय
तं तमेवैति कौन्तेय
तदा तद्भावभावितः
सदा तद्भावभावितः
तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु
तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु
मामनुस्मरयुध्य च
मामनुस्मरयुध्य च
मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः
मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः
मामे वैश्यस्य संशयम्
मामे वैश्यस्य संशयः
once again तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु
तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु
मामनुस्मरयुध्य च
मामनुस्मरयुध्य च
मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः
मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः
मामे वैश्यस्य संशयम्
मामे वैश्यस्य संशयम्.
So there is a Patabheda there. Some books will say samshayaha, some books will say samshayam. Okay, so we have to study this shloka number 7 today. So talking about Kramamukti, because end of life discussion. So what will happen to me after death? Like that question comes. So very unique chapter in this Bhagavad Gita which talks about that. And last minute, think about me. Like that he said. So the thoughts that come to us during the last days, last hour, whatever, is based on two things. What are those two things? Assume that we are conscious, okay? We are sick, or we may not be sick, but we are conscious. And last days doesn't mean that I'm waiting for my end, etc. Last days means any day is a last day, correct? Today can be the last day also. What is the last day means? Oh, many years later I have to worry about it. What many years later I have to worry about it? Any day, we don't know. We can be alive tomorrow. So don't think last day means long time later and all that. Last day can be today also. Therefore, better get ready now itself. And so, two things. What are the two things? Free will. Free will. So I can use my free will and think about the Shastram, think about all the teachings, and then do the japa based on those teachings, like we did today in the Dhyanam class, Dhyanam session, like that. So that free will is there. So based on free will, I can think of whatever I want to think of. Okay, that's free. Then there is other thing. Other thing is called vasanam. Vasana. Vasana means whatever, it is a result of the past, and all of us have inclinations, and based on the vasana some thoughts will come, and those thoughts, without my knowledge, those are the thoughts that will fill up my head. Okay, so these two things are there. Free will is there, vasana is there. And which one is going to be ruling the roost, we don't know at any given time. Correct? And so Bhagavan Krishna is saying, develop your habit in such a way that your vasana also becomes Shubha Vasana. Become Shubha Vasana. What can be the Vasana? Whatever you are, whatever you have made yourself to be over the years, that will be your Vasana. So I don't have to be afraid that some other Vasana will come, etc. There is no some other Vasana if my Vasana is Shubha Vasana. And so, as long as the Shravanam is done, the life is dharmic, then Vasana has to be also good. But Vasana is not free will. So keep that in mind. Free will and Vasana are two different things. So develop it so that my Vasana also becomes natural to me. It becomes exactly as I am. Okay. And so that was the idea. And Swamiji gives us reminds us of the story of Appaya Dikshita. How many of you have heard of Appaya Dikshita? Yeah, many of us have heard. Margabandhu Sotram is there, written by Appaya Dikshita. And so it seems he wanted to test whether he is really thinking of Ishvara, whether Ishvara Chintanam is there for him. And then, so he told his folks, hey, it just intoxicate me. Give me something so that I'll not be completely out, not anesthesia. Give me something where I'm still awake, I'm still conscious, but I'm not in my senses. And I want to see what comes out. Write down everything that comes out of my mouth. Okay. Then what happened is just magic. And what came out of Appaya Dikshita's mouth is what we now call as this Panchashati. So 50 shlokas came out, it seems, and it is all about Bhagavan, Ishvara, praise of Ishvara. It is also called as some Atmarpana Stuti, I think it is called Atmarpana Stotram. You can look it up. And so that story comes. And so whatever is natural to us will come. So there is no fear about that. And this story of Appaya Dikshita is quoted here in this context. So now let's look at this seventh shloka that we chatted. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Tasmat. Because of these things I told you. Because of what things I told you? Because this antakale, whatever one thinks of, that is what that person will get in the next janma. Because of that fact, therefore, sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara. Anusmara, the verb here is anusmara. First line, anusmara. Mam anusmara. Smara means remember, recall. Smara. And anusmara. Anu is an important prefix in our Shastra. Very important prefix. It means following. Remember me following something. Remember me according to. Anu means according to. In keeping with. That is the meaning of anu. Prefix anu. So anusmara. Shastram anusmara. Think of me as the Shastram has told you about me. Okay. So think of me means that, so don't, Krishna stealing butter also you can think, but that is a para prakriti, that is a form that you have given that was needed for me at one time, so I can appreciate Krishna and I appreciate the glory of this universe, and this universe is just ticking, and to appreciate that all this was given to me. But then even in the last days, we need to give up that butter and all that. And then think of Bhagavad Gita, think of the Upanishads, think of the Paramatma Tattvam na jayate mriyate va kadachit. Think of Paroksha Ishvara has become Aparoksha Ishvara. Paroksha Atma has become Aparoksha Atma. Think of that. Anusmara. Look at that word, Anusmara. How much we can talk about Anusmara, correct? Anu, that one prefix anu is enough. Shastram anu. Upadesham anu means whatever upadesha was given to you, whatever teaching was given to you, based on that you think of me, mam anusmara. And of course, sarveshu kaleshu, all times, all times, all times. So now a question should come. Hey Bhagavan, if I keep thinking of you all the time, who's going to do the cooking? Will you come and do the cooking for me? Huh? Children are going to college, she's asking me this, she's asking me that, this, all things are going on. And you're asking me to chant your name all the time. Remember you all the time. At least sannyasi means I can sit and do something. But I'm not even a sannyasi, I'm a grahastha. And so what am I supposed to do? And he's saying yudhyacha. Tasmat sarvasya kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. And also fight. What kind of joke is this? And yudhyacha. Am I supposed to focus on Karna and Duryodhana? All these people are there standing, and I have to plan it out. Commander in Chief has given me some orders. All this is going on, and I am supposed to think of you all the time. It's not possible. A conscious mind cannot really think of more than one thing. More than one thing is not possible. You have to switch. Even the multitasking person will be constantly switching. Multitasking means what? I give up this now, I'm going to do this now. Then I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to do this. Then I come back to this. Then I keep juggling this around. You know, this web browser, they have what is called multiple tabs. These days, all they have multiple tabs. One tab is not enough for us, you know. We need many tabs. So you can keep tabs on everything in this world that's going on. And they call it tab also. I don't know if there's a connection between this tab and the noun tab and the verb tab. I don't know. So I can keep tabs on everything that's going on. This is how it is. And so we're all multitaskers. So, okay, even if I'm not multitasking, still I can't do this Anusmara and Yudhya, two things you're asking me to do. Both are Lot Lakara, both are this thing, okay, a command to Arjuna. Anusmara Yudhya. You must do it, like that he's saying. You please do it, like that he's saying. And no. So that's not the way to understand it. It's not a multitasking type of thing. It's not two different activities. That is what we have to understand here. And of course, so it seems a couple was attending Bhagavad Gita class. And then after a while, they started fighting with each other. Hey, what happened? What happened? No, Krishna said, Yudhya, fight. And so we started fighting. We're looking at it as a glory of Krishna. So we started fighting. No, that is also not correct because this is context based. And so we have to use Yudhya karma kuru, dharmam chara. That is the meaning of Yudhya for us. And whatever duty, whatever position we are in, we are supposed to do that duty. And that's what he's saying. Do your duties, mam anusmaracha. And that is what it is. Okay. So then, so this is the thing. Mayarpita mano buddhihi, he says. How am I going to do two things at the same time? Mayarpita mano buddhihi. And this word is a very interesting word. It refers to a person who has dedicated his mind and buddhi, intellect, to Krishna, Mayi, to Parameshwara. Okay, Mayarpita Mano Buddhi. The one who has done that is called as this Mayarpita Mano Buddhi. Let's look at that. So I'm supposed to focus on Paramatma, Parameshwara, and I'm supposed to do everything. So we should not look at it as two different activities. So if you are traveling in a train, because it's a bit long, and then you get off at some place on the way. You're going from Kanyakumari all the way up to Mumbai or up to Hyderabad. You have to travel a little, and so this train comes to Tirunelveli. Tirunelveli, you heard of halwa. Tirunelveli halwa means you won't get that halwa anywhere else. And so you got off the train 10 minutes. It's enough for you to do a few things. And you got off, and then you got the halwa. And halwa was so good. And then the side they were giving dosa also. Because all sweet also, you have to have some kara and sweet, next. So you got some dosa also. And you started. And then you're saying, aha and uhu. And then before you know it, the time, half an hour, 45 minutes has passed. And train is nowhere to be seen. Okay, the train has gone. And you are enjoying Tirunelveli halwa. Okay. Rarely this happens. Why it won't happen to you? Why it won't happen to you? Because even though halwa is there in your mind, you want to have halwa, still something is there in the back of the mind. There is a destination. I'm supposed to go there. And these days they have a board also. In the roads, they have a board. Do not rush. The family is waiting for you. Something like that. They have all these catchphrases, like that. So here also the mind is there. There is a place I'm going to. This is a stop. This is just temporary stop. I'm not supposed to just sit and take a nap out there. And so like that that idea is very much there. We don't lose sight of that. It's not like you're doing a japa. I'm going to Hyderabad. I'm going to Hyderabad. I'm going to Hyderabad. I should not forget that I'm going to Hyderabad. I should not forget that I have a family. No japa is being done there. So that shows complete commitment. Complete commitment. In our family, work, everything is like that. So you're working in a multinational company, and this guy is just traveling all over traveling. But never lose sight of the family. Never. Doesn't matter where he or she is. Family is first. And so constantly in touch, constantly aware of the family, children, college, whatever is going on. So that person is a griharpita manobuddhihi, right? Griharpita manobuddhihi, the one who is committed to one's home, one's family, because he's a grihastha, she's a grihastha. Or children, thinking of children's well-being. Putrarpita manobuddhihi. That mind and that entire mind is given to the children, well-being of the children. Putrarpita manobuddhihi. Therefore, like that here also, Mayi Arpita Manobuddhihi. Okay. And so, whatever we do, we constitute shifts, and the goalpost is clear. And therefore, I lead a life like that. And just like the musician also, singing various ragas and singing this swaras, various types of swaras. It starts slowly and then it builds up, and then chitta swaram is there, kalpana swaram and all is there. So classical music means it's not sitting and standing and dancing and screaming at the mic. It's highly sophisticated. But then the back of the mind, swaram has to be there. Otherwise, the people who are listening, they will curse this fellow. They will say all that. Traditional people cannot handle all this apaswaram. They will identify apaswaram just like that. They may not know how to sing, but they will identify apaswaram. And so this singer, you don't bring him anymore. He doesn't know how to sing. That's it, over. One evening is ruined. He's ruined my thing. So that thing is there in the back of the mind. Swara. That swara is constantly there. Like that, Mayarpita Manobuddhihi, Manaha. So I was emotionally dependent on so many things and so many people. Now that dependence is given to Ishvara. I'm now, quote unquote, depending on Ishvara, Bhagavan. Bhagavan's grace, so he can show me. He can show me, reveal everything about himself. I depend on Bhagavan. World dependence to God dependence. Correct? World dependence to God dependence. God dependence not for me to get things done in this world. That's okay. That's how we lead our life, begin our life. But now it's completely you. completely be you, because only you can open my eyes. And so, buddhi also, be convinced, study, buddhi, intellect, follow the teachings. And so, when the Shastram says, you are the whole, this statement has to be properly assimilated. When I lack nothing, then there is something big I'm missing. If I keep saying that I'm limited, if I keep saying that I'm insecure, then I have to grow out of it. I have to assimilate the teachings of the Shastra. Buddhi arpita, my buddhi arpita, my arpita buddhi, my arpita manaha. Correct? That is how this should be understood. And so, that kind of a Sharanagati Krishna is talking about. And then that Krishna becomes a physical form for me to do this Sharanagati. And physical form is limited. Love is infinite. Compassion is infinite. Immortality is infinite. But infinite cannot be grasped. And therefore, I rely on Krishna. I rely on Parameshwara, my Ishta Devata. I rely on. And then I become a Mayarpita Manobuddhihi. And so, if I do that, what happens? Mam eva eshyasi. So here we have to split, okay? See, Mayarpita Manobuddhihi is one word. Okay, is one word. Then Mam eva eshyasi. Mam eva eshyasi asamshayam. Asamshayam. Grammatically, asamshayam seems more correct to me. I'll explain to you why. Because, see, asamshayaha, if it is, then it is samanadikaranyam to mayarpita manobuddhihi, means referring to the person. It will start referring to the person, mayarpita manobuddhihi. And asamshayaha and person. Asamshaya cannot be a subject of the sentence. Cannot be a subject of the sentence. Whereas asamshayam, napumsakam, neutral gender, is an avyayam. Look up your dictionary. It's an avyayam. Or it can be neuter also. And neuter is an adverb. Adverb. Okay? Adverb. So you will, mam eva eshyasi, you will reach me. Okay? This eshyasi verb, we're seeing it again and again. Okay? Eti, in gatav. So in is the dhatu there. Okay, gatav, in the sense of going, in the sense of moving, in the sense of reaching. Okay. So mam eva eshyasi, you will reach me without a doubt. Asamshayam, without a doubt. Swamiji here tells us something. He says, before elections, politicians shake your hand. After elections, politicians shake your confidence. So like that he says. So like Krishna is not like that. And Asamchayam, he says, no, you can believe my words. There is no doubt in this, is what Krishna is saying. So let's translate this shloka. Tasmat, therefore. Okay, so he's concluding. In a way, it's concluding the previous shloka is being concluded. And so therefore, comma, remember me at all times and fight. Remember me at all times and fight. Full stop. Being one whose mind and intellect, being one whose mind and intellect are fixed upon me. Being one whose mind and intellect are fixed upon me, or offered unto me. That's another. You'll read, you'll see those that translation also. Offered unto me. See how important it is to first understand these things before translate. Because offering, somebody is offering your mind to Bhagavan means what? See, if I offer my mind to Bhagavan, like I offer Mysore Pak to the guest, then what happens? First of all, I can't do it. It's not possible. But then I take it literally and then I begin to offer. Then what? Since the mind belongs to you, you think for me. Okay, I can't think. The mind now doesn't belong to me. If the mind doesn't belong to me, I can't think. I can't use my mind because it's no longer my mind. It is your mind. Hey, Bhagavan. These kinds of thoughts will start coming. So we have to be careful here. Mind continues to be here only. It won't go anywhere. Need not go anywhere. It is meant to bless us. So we don't have to give it to anybody. But then here, therefore, arpita, fixed upon me. I like that translation here. Comma, you will reach me alone. Reach me alone. Reach, of course, in inverted commas. Because we now know Paroksha, not Paroksha Ishvara. It is Aparoksha Ishvara. Me is Aparoksha. Therefore, reaching is in the sense of knowing. I got it. They say I got it. There is no action. I got it means I understood it. That is the meaning. So you will reach me alone, full stop. There is no doubt, full stop. Or regarding this, there is no doubt. Or you will reach me alone without a doubt. All these translations are good. Okay. You want me to repeat it again? Or everybody got it? Okay. So let me translate it once again. So therefore, remember me at all times and fight. Full stop. Being one whose mind and intellect are fixed upon me, comma, you will reach me alone, full stop. Or you will reach me alone without a doubt. Or doubtlessly, there's a word like that in English, doubtlessly. Okay, let's chant the next one. Abhyasa yoga yuktena. Yeah, you have to unmute yourself, Gayatri.
1 minute, Mahodaya.
Abhyasa yoga yuktena.
Abhyasayogayuktena
Chetasa nanya-gamina.
tena sa nanya
Chetasa nanya-gamina.
chetasa nanya kamina
Paramam purusham divyam.
paramam purusham yudhyam
Yati partha.
yadipata
Anuchintayan.
achintayan
Anuchintayan.
anachintayan
Again, abhyasa yoga yuktena.
te abhyasayogayuktena
Chetasa nanya-gamina.
chetasa nanya-kamina
Paramam purusham divyam.
paramam purusham divyam
Yati parthanuchintayan.
yadi parthanuchintayan.
Yeah. Again, context is prayana kale. Antakale, at the end, towards the end of one's life. That's the context again. And so again, this Nishkama Saguna Ishvara Upasakaha, right? Nishkama Saguna Ishvara Upasaka. What about Sakama Saguna Ishvara Upasaka? What will happen to that person? This whole chapter does not apply to that person. Because Sakama means I want something. I want something, some material, something. And whatever it is. And it can be family, it can be things, Aishwarya, whatever it is. And so that person will, of course, get whatever that person wants. So Bhagavan Krishna doesn't have to say that. He's not talking about that. He's talking about Nishkama. Because Vairagyam is talked about, therefore Nishkama, and then which becomes a requirement for this Advaita Siddhi. Therefore, we are talking about a Nishkama Saguna Upasakaha, who has not had the opportunity for Shravanam in this life. Okay? Or may have done a little bit of Shravanam, but could not complete the study. Okay? Or at least could not get the complete the Advaita Siddhi. Okay? So that person, Anuchintayan. Anuchintayan. Look at that. The word Anu keeps coming again and again. And Anuchintayan. The last word of the shloka is Anuchintayan. Hey Partha. Okay. Anuchintayan. Thinking of. Okay. Meditating upon. Reminding oneself about the teachings. Okay. Okay, that is Anuchintayan. Okay, repeatedly thinking about. Then, okay, then see, look at this. By how can one think repeatedly like this? Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanya-gamina. Chetasa is the main word there. All three words are tritiya, as you can recognize. Tritiya means third case, instrumental. So my chetasa. Chetasa means manasa, by the mind. Obviously by the mind, that's fairly obvious. But then what kind of mind? Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa. A mind that is conducive to, that has been trained to practice Abhyasa yoga, to practice, because this requires some practice, and which is what we are doing. By Shravanam also requires practice. It's amazing how it is. Initially, we approach the Shastram, and then somebody said you should listen, and then I listen, and then something happens. Even we are not so sure, and then after a while, it just picks up. It just picks up. Just because of lack of time, I'm not able to attend classes or attend classes every day. Not possible sometimes. But the desire comes, the ichha, jnana ichha comes, and so that abhyasa yoga yuktena, being endowed with that ability to repeatedly practice, and then again na anya gamina, Anyagamina. Anyagami. Gami means a person who goes somewhere else. A goer. Somewhere, he goes somewhere. It's called Gami. Anyagami. Going somewhere else. Going somewhere. Somewhere means what? Somewhere else. And else means other than where one should focus our mind on. So that's how it is. So Anyagamina. What an interesting word it is. Not distracted. That is the meaning of Nanya-gamina. Undistracted. Okay. Without being distracted. How can I be distracted? How can I be distracted? Suppose I say, there's so much going on. This place is busy, cars, this, that, and I'm not able to focus. Well, Shravanam, yeah, Shravanam, we need a quiet environment, no doubt. Then what? Then I keep studying, I keep mulling over the teachings, and to a point where, okay, some noise will always be there. I can get used to the noise that is there. Buses are honking, if you say. There are people, I told you this example. In Hyderabad, Secunderabad, we used to live next to the railway station. And in the night time, this constantly engines making sounds. And they are changing tracks and this constant movement will be there. But we used to sleep well. I never complained to my mother that, Mama, this place is no good. I never said that. How? When a child is able to sleep so well, why should an adult not sleep so well? When a child who complains about everything in this world sleeps so well, how come an adult, a mature adult, who has understood that everything is not going to be exactly like the way I want, why that person can't enjoy that? So this is how I think. So, therefore, na anyagamina. And what happens to this person? Anuchintayan Shastram Anu. Okay, bring that Shastram here. And hey Partha, Saha Paramam Purusham Divyam Yati. Yati gains, gets, accomplishes. Okay. And what does that person get? Paramam Purusham Divyam. Purusham. Purusham we saw last time. Okay, same definition. Pura Ushati iti. Purushaha, Dehi, that Atma that is there in this body is Purushaha. Or Sarvam Purayati iti Purushaha. That which fills up everything is Purushaha. And so that is Purusha. That person gains this Purusha, which is Paramam, which is limitless. Why? Because it's formless. Formless means limitless. Nirgunam, Brahma, Aksharam, Brahma, Paramam. We saw that earlier. The same Paramam comes here. Paramam, Purusham, Divyam. That Paramam, Purusham is Divyam also. Divyam. So, this Divyam, how do you understand this word? Heavenly. Sometimes they translate it as heavenly, right? Heavenly. It's heavenly. But we Vedantis can't quietly take these kinds of words, heavenly and all. Heavenly means what? I don't know what. Already all things in this world itself, I don't understand properly. Now you're bringing a new word called heaven. And then you're saying heavenly, thinking that I know what heaven is. And means ethereal. No, it's not like that, Guruji. It's heavenly means it's all great. Everything is great out there. There's no pain at all. There's nothing. That kind of heaven, that heavenly Divyam you will get. Okay, that sounds attractive. I don't mind that kind of a life if I can get it, but I want it now. Don't ask me to die. There is a problem. You are asking me to die and then go to heaven. I have a problem with that. So then here we don't say Divyam is. So you have to go back to Sanskrit. You have to go back to a book called Dhatu Pata, and then you have to look up the word. You have to understand where this word Divyam has come from. And it has come from a dhatu called Div. Div means Dyotane. In the sense of shining, that is called Div. Okay. Shining immediately, it reminds us of Atma, the self-shining Atma. Only Atma shines. Everything else shines after Atma. Like sun shines by itself. And just an example. But here, Atma is self-shining. Chit. Okay. So Divyam here is Chidrupam, Chaitanya Swarupam. And that is the way to understand Divyam. Otherwise, heavenly and all, if you do, you take the person, make the person imagine things, and we keep on imagining, and we become imaginary after that. Correct? And because we are all imagining things, hey, there is nothing to imagine here. Atma is Divya. Consciousness is always there. I am aware of things because of consciousness. And I always exist. That's Sat, existence. That is this Divyam here. Okay. And so let us look at this sloka. Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanyagamina paramam purusham divyam yati partha anuchintaya. Hey partha, and then yati. Yati is other verb. Gains. The person reaches, person gains, etc. So let's translate it and see how it looks. O partha, comma. Reflecting as was taught, or reflecting as he, she was taught. Okay, because he says yati, third person, that person gains, he says. You gain, he doesn't say. Correct? You gain, he didn't say. He said that person is third person. Okay, it is prathama purusha. Therefore, reflecting as he, she was taught, comma, with a mind endowed with a mind endowed with the practice of yoga. Practice of yoga. Karma yoga, jnana yoga. With the practice of yoga, comma, with a mind that does not stray. With a mind that does not stray to anything else. Okay, with a mind that does not stray to anything else, comma, he, she reaches the limitless self-effulgent person. He, she reaches the limitless self-effulgent person. Reaches within quotes you can put. O Partha, reflecting as the person was taught, with a mind endowed with the practice of yoga, with a mind that does not stray to anything else, comma, he, she reaches the limitless self-effulgent person. Look at that Divyam, how to understand Divyam, so important it is. Okay, let's, we have
No,
time.
in between with the practice of yoga.
Practice of yoga with a mind that does not stray to anything else. Stray, S-T-R-A-Y.
Oh.
Yeah, with an undistracted mind. But because na anya gamina is there, so we are trying to literally translate that word.
And limitless self.
Self-effulgent. Self-effulgent person. Divyam, self-effulgent. Paramam Purusham. Paramam, limitless. Purusham, person. Translated here as person. You can interpret it as person, or you can interpret that as the meanings, the two meanings of Purusha that we have given. Okay. So we have a couple of more minutes. Let's chant the 9th sloka. And unmute yourself, Girishji. Kavim Puranam.
Kavim Puranam.
Anushasitaram. Yeah, Girishji, go ahead.
Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram.
Anoraniyam Samanusmaredhyaha.
Anoraniyam Samanusmaredhya.
Anoraniyam Samanusmaredhyaha.
Anoraniyam Samanusmaredhya.
Sarvasya Dhataramachintya Rupam.
Sarvasya Dhataramachintya Rupam.
आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात्
आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात्
कविं पुराणमनुशासितारम्
कविं पुराणमनुशासितारम्
अणोरणीयां समनुस्मरेद्यः
अणोरणीयां समनुस्मरेद्यः
सर्वस्य धातारमचिन्त्य रूपम्
सर्वस्य दातारमचिन्त्य रूपम्
आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात्
आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात्.
Okay. So what we should probably do is to stop here. So that we can continue from the next class. It's already 8 o'clock. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.